Howdy folks, Laxo here, and today we are going to be discussing the Christmas store. So, as per every event, we get the item shop, and it's always on everybody's mind, what do you get, what do you not get? And obviously during the Christmas event, there are some exclusive items in this shop, so, well, let's go ahead and check it out. So, as per usual, I do highly suggest everybody getting to at least 220 pulls to get this, whether you're paying or free player. However, outside of that, you get these. So let's go ahead and go over them really quickly here. So, first thing we see here are the weapons, both Ichigo and Aizen. So both of these weapons are actually not bad. You don't need as mandatory, you do not need Aizen's weapon. Essentially it's just a little bit extra damage to one character. It's 60% extra damage to the character with the highest attack, so that is nice, especially if you're trying to focus down that character, but it's not mandatory. However, I feel like the mandatory character here is Ichigo, because his character doesn't do much. It just messes around with shields. And then as soon as you get the weapon, it straight is, Nini, Dispel, Purify on your entire back row. So it's really nice. However, once again, as a free-to-play player, you might want to bypass both of these. Why? Because next event, which is assuming it's going to be probably February, I'd assume, maybe Valentine's Day, both of these weapons are going to drop to the price of 40, as you can see here. The cheapest time to get characters from this event is always the next event. And yes, that goes for all events, unless they are exclusive events like the Neni Noel event. So, once again, next event, if you really want to get characters' weapons, it'll always be 5 cheaper next event. Alright, moving on here, we have the actual weapons. Always avoid the UR choice pack weapons. If I remember correctly, they do not even give you all the options for all the characters, which is just absolutely terrible. It only gives you a couple options, and you are paying just the same price, if not more, than these exclusive characters. So avoid these, never get that, ever, do not need that. Free-to-play, paying player, do not need this at all. Avoid that. Next up here we have the Scarf Warsaw. So I'm gonna bypass this. I do not like the fact that it is not guaranteed every time you always get damage reduction. It's just based on if you have characters on your team that are CC'd. So I do not like this. I feel like the best way to just not get CC'd is by having effect reduction. That is probably the best way to avoid getting CC'd. You should probably do that before picking this up. Anyways, moving on here. We have this Warsaw right here, and this Warsaw is actually, this Warsaw packs a punch here. I believe it's up to 37.5. I think that was the max damage. Or I think it was 37.5% extra max damage at if you get the specialty and the Warsaw maxed. So this right here is probably the strongest Warsaw you can probably run on a dragon type character, especially if you're the one going first. If you could toss that on pretty much any dragon type character that goes first, I'm talking Byakuya is not bad. Muramasa is insane. Any of those characters you can toss this Warsaw on, and it will help out an absolute ton. Moving on here, if you are a free-to-play player, you are usually always going to want to get these, as you can see. I opted, as per usual, to go with these just so I can get all the, or maybe not all of them, but just the good ones. As you can see here, take a quick look at who I got. This time around, I got no. And let's see here. Last time I got... Nemu here. I got Nemu here last time. And yes, she is most helpful at 4-star. But I'm going to go ahead and wait till I get a couple extra Omnis to go ahead and pump her in. Or, you know, get her up to 4-star. Alright, moving on here. Once again, free to play. Probably going to want to push on this. Anything past that? We have Byakuya here. If you do not have Byakuya from last event or you failed to get him, I definitely suggest getting Byakuya. He is an absolute monster of a tank, and the best part about him is he puts out some really, really good damage. You don't necessarily need his weapon. It's more for show and a little bit of healing. Don't need his weapon, but it's decent enough to pick up, I think. Especially if you're wanting to use him in 1v1, then you definitely want to pick up his weapon. Moving on here. Never get that. That should be free. Once again, SSR choice pack. Never get that. That should be free. War Souls. This is probably one of the worst things you can get here, because all of these are free as well. And the worst part is it costs 50. So you're paying the same price as a premium War Soul that will never be available ever again, as the same price as a War Soul that you can get literally any day for free. So yeah, terrible. Do not ever get these, ever. Even if you're like, I really want that one War Soul, don't get it. Don't get it. Don't get it. If you need some emblem choice packs or tome choice packs, then this might not be a bad place to go. But once again, for 10, I feel like I'd rather just get a token, or 10 time tokens, or maybe a couple extra shards or something. But these aren't too bad, especially if you're trying to get one character up. I'd say probably avoid this for one of the last things, for both a free and a paying player. Matter of fact, a free-to-play player should probably not get these at all. If you have six gingerbread men left at the very, very end of the event, then yeah, you can go ahead and grab a couple of these. It's probably not terrible. If I do my last couple of pulls and I have 6 left, I'm probably just going to grab these myself. I always talk about these enhancement packs, and my stance pretty much never changes on these. I don't think they're that great, unless you're really trying to pump up your initiative or something like that. You should probably avoid these, but as you guys saw during the Black Friday sale, these things were on sale, and they were super duper duper cheap. So you could just pick those up there really, really easily, or from the Season Pass. If you are caught up with the Season Pass, then you can just pay $25 and get all of these. All of them. But I definitely don't suggest getting these right here unless you're trying to focus just a couple characters and you have just tons and tons and tons of extra gingerbread men, then sure, why not, do it. But free to play, I'd say avoid those. Definitely avoid those. Definitely don't need those. Soul Orbs, once again, for free. As you can see on my free-to-play account, I have 8, and I'm not even planning on using those, so don't need those. Soul Stones, if you have 5 extra and you don't want to try and get a 6th, then yeah, why not? Soul Stone Pouch, and Gold. Other than that, I think that pretty much just about sums it up. I'll go over really quickly here and do this once again. Weapons, they are usually a pretty good choice. I'd say wait until next event when they're cheaper, especially because the Valentine's Day events usually aren't that great of events, if I remember correctly. Last couple of Valentine's events haven't really been too great, or at least the characters haven't been too great. So I'd probably say wait for the Valentine's Day event to get these weapons if you're really, really interested. War Souls, I'd say pass on the Scarf. Do not need the Scarf. The Christmas outfit War Soul is insane. I'd probably get that one, especially if you're a paying player. You need this War Soul, especially if you want to stay competitive in World Championship. Get that for sure. Time tokens. If you're a free-to-play player, this is probably where most of your tokens or most of your gingerbread men should be going, unless you really want to get the weapons. Byakuya, he's a good character. If you don't have him, make sure you get him. Weapon, not mandatory. And all these are no, no. Get this if you have 6 left, no, and no. So that just about sums this one up here. But now let's go ahead and talk about next video, because next video is going to be a good one. So next video I'm going to be getting into, as you can see right here, I have 3 characters lined up in my back row. Why? Because I'm doing testing on all 3 of these characters. And I'm actually quite surprised on the results I've gotten thus far from just doing light testing on them. So make sure to tune in for that one. And oh, I also need to do a video on the war souls as well, just to go over all the war souls, because there are some very good war souls out there as well. But guys, that is actually going to wrap this one up. If you guys enjoyed this content, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I would appreciate it very much. Feel free to join my Discord. Link will be in the description as usual. And as per usual, guys, I will catch y'all on the next one. Happy New Year. And peace. Peace.